Hi, welcome to my channel. Thanks for stopping by. Today I'm going to show you how to make a MacKenzie child inspired Dollar Tree butterfly DIY. So if you like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell so you'll be notified the next time I upload a video. Now come on, let's get right into this and let me show you what we're going to do. To begin with, we're going to start with this Apple Barrel white matte acrylic paint, and I just picked this paint up at Walmart. And here are one of these wooden butterflies that I picked up at Dollar Tree, and we're going to go ahead and give this butterfly a nice coat of this white paint. We're going to paint all over the front, the back, and all the small edges as well as the bottom portion. Just like what you see I'm doing here, and notice how I got even the little edges all the way around our butterfly. And it's starting to look really good, just like that. Now we're just going to wait a moment and let that dry. This paint dries super quick, so we'll just let it set for just a moment. And now here it is, it's all dried. The only part we did not paint white is the very bottom. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our pencil and we are going to draw the center portion of our butterfly, his body on here. And there's nothing special to doing this. I'm just kind of drawing the butterfly's body kind of like in two portions. I'm doing the top portion there, and I'm just connecting this bottom portion. And I am no artist. I just am lightly sketching this on. So this is something very quick, very easy that anyone can do. You can see mine's not perfect. Now we're going to do that on both sides. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to connect where the bottom portion of this top wing is coming. And we're going to connect that to our body portion that we just drew on of our butterfly. And we're just gently rounding those curves right there for the top of our butterfly's wings, just like what you can see there. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, just as long as you're kind of rounding them just a little bit so that we have some definition to this butterfly. And just like that, we've done it on both sides now. And now once we have that done, I'm just going to start here at the top corner of our wing, and I'm just going to section this top portion of his wing off into maybe 5 or 6 little sections here. We'll see. I want them all fairly evenly spaced apart. So you can see I have 2 sections there. I'm now drawing this third little section here, and I think one more line, and that should be able to give us, what is that? 5 even sections as far as the width goes. And so I'm liking how that's looking. I'm going to just do the exact same thing over here on this other side. And I'm just going to start this one right across from where my line on the other side of his body is. And I'm just going to pull that all the way to the edge. And I'm going to do the exact same thing, sectioning it off so I have an equal number of sections on this side of our butterfly as what I had on the other. And let me show you this a little closer. You can see there's nothing fancy about that. And now I'm going to do the same thing with this bottom portion of his bottom wings. This bottom portion of his wings, again, I'm just going to section this off just like what I did with the top portion. Trying to keep each little section fairly evenly spaced. Now, I do definitely want to see a definition between the top portion of his wings and that bottom portion. So you'll notice that my lines go a little bit different directions for the bottom portion compared to the top portion. And again, as I'm doing the sections on this other side of our butterfly, I'm trying to keep those lines like as if the center of his body wasn't there and I just took it right across, that it would connect with the other side. So I'm just trying to match that up fairly well. And again, keeping our sections evenly spaced apart as far as our width goes. And let me show you a little bit better picture of this in just a minute here. I'm just going to make this top portion of his wings, I'm going to make that a little bit darker because I want to make sure that we definitely have a definition there between the top portion and the bottom portion, as well as with his body. So I'm going to darken that center part up, which it doesn't really make any difference because we're going to go ahead and outline this anyway in paint, but I just want to make sure that I am putting my paint on where it actually needs to go. Now here you can see these aren't beautiful, they're not perfect, but they're good enough to section everything off, and that's what we needed. Now what we're going to do is we are going to also do equal vertical lines on the top portions of our wings to begin with. Again, just keeping them equally spaced apart. And we're going to do the one side, then we're going to go and do the opposite side. And we want the same number of sections on the opposite side as what we had on this side. And again, don't worry about your lines if your lines aren't perfect. They're all going to get painted, so nobody's going to see the lines once we're done with it anyway. And there's our last small line right by his body. And now we're going to go ahead and add in our lines on the bottom portion. Again, just kind of keeping them about the same distance apart as what we have on the top. So I'm just kind of using the top portion as our guide to bring those lines straight down here onto the bottom. And this is really easy. Even if you can't draw, you can do this. All it is making some straight lines or some slightly curved lines. So this is not hard whatsoever. Now we're going to flip our butterfly over and we're going to do the same type of lines just on the top portion this time of this butterfly. Just our lines going horizontal. We're not even going to worry about vertical lines on this side. This side is going to be even easier than what the other side is. And just like that, let me show you a little bit closer here. And that is all the drawing that we are going to do on here. Now we're going to get out our black matte metallic paint, and this is also in the apple barrel. And I also picked this up at Walmart. And we're going to go ahead and just fill in every other one of our squares that we drew on here. We are going to fill that in and give us that courtly check look and pattern to our butterfly. Now using a small brush is the best for these. And the one thing is you will want a brush that doesn't have the bristles that are going in all directions, but a little bit newer brush so that your bristles aren't doing that, because being wood, the bristles kind of want to snag on this just ever so slightly, and also being wood, it's more porous, so your paint can kind of go in and kind of spread a little bit. So using a smaller paintbrush helps just to control that and get the paint right where you want it without going way outside where you want it to be. And you can see here, I'm just outlining my square and then I'm filling in the center portion. I'm finding on this particular project, that's kind of the easiest way to do it. Now, it changes depending on what it is I'm painting on, but I'm finding that for this painting on this wood, this is the easiest way to do it, is just kind of outlining and then filling it in. And I did find that these small brushes work really well for this. And you can see this is coming along great. And this is our first coat of our black paint. So if you make any mistakes, don't worry. We always go back through and do a second coat or touch-ups. So if you get a little crazy or get a little paint where it shouldn't have gone, well, that's not really a big thing. And as per usual with me, when I'm painting, I like to turn whatever it is I'm painting this way and that way. And I don't keep it all just straight and in one direction. I am constantly turning whatever it is I'm painting around and around. Now I'm using a straight edge flat brush to make sure that I get this line right between the top portion of his wings and the bottom portion. I want to make sure that is a very definite line because I do want that to show as a separation from the top portion to the bottom portion of his wings. And we're just outlining that with our black. Now I don't care for this how I did right around his body part on the left side. You can see some of that black just kind of all smushed and mushed together there. But don't worry, I'm going to clean that all up and we'll get that all fixed up in a few minutes. Now this is a really quick, easy project to do. So if you just want something real quick to do and have something right away, this is the perfect project for that. Now we're just going to go ahead and fix up this other bottom side of our butterfly here. And you can see this is looking great already. We got this top portion done. We're working on this bottom portion. And this is just a super fun project to do. It's quick and it's really easy. You don't have to be any great artist or anything to do this. It's fun and it's relaxing. These will make great little gifts to give somebody or to sit out in your own home. Now we're just going to flip this over here and we are going to do stripes on this back top portion of our butterfly's wings. Just like what you see me doing here, instead of doing the checks on the side, we're going to do every other section in a long stripe. Now, I don't know if you've watched any of my other MacKenzie Child inspired videos, but I've recently found out that there really is a MacKenzie Childs, and she lives in New York. She lives on a boat there, and she has the most glorious stories to tell on how she got started with MacKenzie Childs and what her inspirations were and how she does stuff. It is such a joy to listen to, so I highly recommend, if you've never actually seen the true MacKenzie Childs, that you go and visit her channel. Her name is Victoria MacKenzie Childs, and she would love if you go to her channel, show her some love, support her, give her some likes and some shares and some subscribes, and it will be a complete blessing to her, and it will be a blessing to you and everyone who enjoys and loves her creations. I cannot do what she does whatsoever. She is a true artist. I am just a crafter who loves her work and loves her style. And so I just craft and kind of take and repurpose thrifted things or things from Dollar Tree and make them over into something of what she does. But she is a true amazing artist and creator, and you will just be thrilled if you go over and check out her channel. So again, her name was Victoria MacKenzie Childs. Now on the bottom portion of this butterfly, I'm just putting little tiny dash marks all the way around the edges. So almost like a little tiny stripe, but it's just a little tiny dash mark. I want just a touch of that going all the way around the bottom portion of their wings here. Now this side is super, super easy to do. Look how cute that is looking already. And to do those dashes, I'm just using a little tiny flat brush. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but when I'm doing this top part, I end up getting a lot of the black or white where it doesn't need to be along this outer edge here. And because I do that, it looks a little messy up there. So all I do is go ahead and put these little tiny dashes to make it look striped all along the edge. And we go all the way around there, and that cleans up so much of that without having to do very much with it. So you can see I'm going through and just giving the little dashes in the black right this second. And then in a few minutes, I'm going to go back through and I'm going to do it with the white as well. But before I do that part, what I'm doing is I'm just using the end of a skewer here, and I'm taking our black paint and I'm just going to polka dot this whole bottom part. Now, this is one of the things I personally love about the MacKenzie Childs items is I love how Victoria just broke the mold when she came up with creating all these beautiful items by adding stripes and polka dots and florals together. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I was growing up, I was always told you can't put stripes and polka dots together. You can't put florals and polka dots together. They don't match. And it was just a complete taboo. Well, Victoria managed to totally break the mold on all those old style things that we were brought up with that you can't do. And she has made it into something that is absolutely beautiful. That is one of the things I love about her looks. Now, obviously, if you've watched my channel, some of my favorite looks of hers are her courtly check. And I also really like the courtly check with the florals. I'm just starting to really get into that and like that play of florals with the checks and also the polka dots. I just think it is so fun. Now, there's also MacKenzie Child's website where you can actually go to their store, and they have beautiful, amazing products for sale there. And trust me, if you can afford it, they have gorgeous stuff that you would love. It's a little bit out of my price range, and so I just recreate the little things that I can and just have fun doing it that way. But if you can afford to buy their stuff, I highly recommend it because their stuff is absolutely gorgeous. Now you can see here I'm going through this edge and I'm cleaning up all the spot where I had some black where the white should have gone and everything. So instead of painting that whole edge all the way around in one color, adding in the little stripes here makes it so easy to just cover up all the spots that were kind of messy and still add our pattern in there. Now, remember I told you that on this left side, I didn't like the way it was looking. I just went and repainted over that and gave it a little bit bigger checks. Now I'm going to use some of this Duncan Bright Gold on the body part of our butterfly here. Now this is a real bright gold and I really like it for this part because it's almost a yellowy gold, and so I'm trying to go for a little bit of a spring look with these because I want to use this butterfly in some of my displays for summer and spring, and so I'm thinking this bright gold is going to look really pretty on there. And I'm just filling that center body portion in really good. And I'm going to do this on both sides. You can see here I just flipped our butterfly over, and again I'm just filling in this body part with this bright gold on this side as well. And I'm liking that really well. I'm going to go ahead and add this gold up here on the very top of our butterfly's body part, the head right there. I just think it needed to be gold instead of the white. Now I'm also going to take this gold and I'm just going to use a number 2 pencil and put some polka dots all around this bottom plate here of our butterfly that helps them stand. And if you don't get enough paint on one dot, the really great thing about doing polka dots is you can polka dot over the top of a polka dot you've already done, and you can do it several times if you need to until you get the amount of paint that you need on there. Now you can see we have those polka dots all over this bottom part, and I'm loving that. It just really adds to the fun and the whimsy of our butterfly here. Now I'm going to use a little bit of this Dunkin', and this is in the avocado. Now you don't have to use this type of paint. You can use whatever color paint you want. It's just this is what I have, so this is what I'm using. And I was really debating on this part. I love the gold just the way it is, but I decided to go ahead and add the green polka dots over the body portion of our butterfly just to add that little extra bit of whimsy to them. Now, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm in love with this part or if I should have just left it gold, plain gold all by itself. What do you think? If you have an idea on that, leave me a comment down below, and I'd appreciate that. I'm not positive. I'm in love with the green polka dots on the gold body portion. Now, for part of the very last portion of our butterfly here, I'm taking our black and I'm just going to put some stripes all the way around this whole very bottom ridge of our butterfly. And I'm loving the way our butterfly is turning out here. I want to go ahead and seal him with a little bit of Mod Podge. This Mod Podge is in the satin, and I'm just going to give him a really quick, nice coat of this Mod Podge all over him, just so that the paint won't tend to get worn off. Now here's our butterfly, and I'm loving the way this is looking. I just think this was a really fun project. It didn't take any time at all. Obviously, our butterfly is from Dollar Tree, so he doesn't cost hardly anything at all. And he was just really fun to put together. And we'll be able to have another just fun, whimsical piece to be able to use this summer and this spring to decorate with. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell so you'll be notified the next time I upload a video. Thanks so much for watching.